Beautiful, beautiful.
First things first, how are you?
We're really good.
It's very good to hear.
Yeah.
So, before we get into the album, I'd like to jump back a little bit. I believe you when you started out, you competed in a contest to make music.
Yeah.
At this early stage, what was your ambition with music? What did you think the future would hold in terms of music?
I don't know. It was just like a open book with. I mean, I had always dreamt of touring and doing music for a living, and so basically, but I mean, it was just like a experiment, and we started the band. Me and Andri, we were just a duo, so we were just doing something fun and something different. Wanted to do something new.
What made you want to tour?
Made us want to tour?
Yeah, you say you always wanted to tour, so how come? And the same goes for you.
I mean, Iceland is really small and it's an island, so it has always been a dream. It was always a dream to like go somewhere else and share your music, you know.
It was like it was always a goal for me since I was a teenager to be in a touring band.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was always kind of an aim to start touring and play music every night, and yeah.
Yeah.
But you mentioned, well, Iceland is kind of small, and then before I turned the camera on, we kind of shortly discussed what the scene is like, or what the venues are like over there, and kind of the ticket sales. And so when you started out, what was it like trying to get a show, to play a show first in Iceland?
It's really difficult. When I think I started playing live shows in Iceland when I was like maybe 19 or something. Because before that I lived in Belgium, and I moved at 19 to Iceland and formed a band there with some friends of mine, and it's really difficult when you're starting out and like nobody knows who you are, and there's no real promoters in Iceland or in Reykjavik. You know, you sort of have to be your own promoter. You have to promote your own show. You're taking all the risk yourself. So there's a lot of there's a lot of barriers to.
Yeah. It's hard to start in Iceland.
Yeah.
It's unless you have like this big single, you know, get on radio stations and stuff. But for work, it wasn't that hard because we won the competition. So there was like a bit of a hype for us, you know. But it's hard to like, you know, gig a lot in Iceland because the market is so small, you know.
Mm-hmm. So is that why the orientation becomes international quite quickly? You can kind of look outward?
Yeah. And there wasn't like, we never have been, you know, the band in Iceland. Just for now, with the new album, we have been getting a bit of a hype. So this is like the first time we're a little bit popular in Iceland.
Okay.
Yeah, but before, it was never really playing that big shows, maybe 100, 200 people, just quite small, intimate shows. Yeah.
So especially early on then, and this might sound a bit weird, but what keeps you going when it is a struggle? What keeps you going, kind of believing that you can get there, and kind of that determination that you need to get there?
I mean, for me personally, I've just been living for music my entire life. So basically, I've thought about this, like what would I do if I wouldn't be in music, and I just can't figure it out. And I don't know what I would live for. So it's just, if I wouldn't be writing music, I think I would be really depressed.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's just. Yeah.
I mean, it's like some days are tough, and sometimes it feels like there's more tough days than easy days.
Yeah.
But it's like also, I don't know. It's like it's super rewarding.
Yeah.
It's something that you've made on your own, or like with your friends, and and built this thing together and kind of raised this child, this band that becomes bigger and better, and like you will keep learning new things, and I don't know, it's like
And like the feeling after a show, there's like your adrenaline goes so high, and it's a little bit addicting, I think, for me personally. But yeah, you've been building your company, and you always wanna strive a bit higher and higher.
Sure. Do you remember your first show?
Yes, that was at the competition.
Okay. Oh, that was the very first show you did as a...
Yeah. Was shitting my pants. It was horrible.
Yeah. The first show that I played with Vög, that was in Riga. No, it was in.
Oh, you started in a good.
A really good show.
Yeah.
No, what was it? It was in.
It was in.
Vilnius.
Yes.
Yeah.
Latvia.
No, Latvia is Riga. It's Lithuania.
Lithuania. Yeah. That was a great tour. It was a good tour.
It was a really good first impression.
Yeah.
Of touring.
But since then we've just been no.
No, but I can imagine, especially early on when you don't know each other that well yet. Well, what was it like being on the road together and kind of getting to know each other and kind of figuring out both musically and personally where you want to go?
I think that's never been the problem.
No.
It's been very on the same page.
Was it immediate, like, okay, this works?
Yeah, there's like I feel just a bit like that he's my brother or something. It's just really, really friendly and familiar, and always been.
And if we disagree on something, we just talk about it, and it's like there's never any drama.
Nah.
I mean, it's like if that's like sort of the easiest thing in this whole thing is that.
Yeah.
I find like
basically.
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, because we're often like just on the same opinion and on the same page when it comes to a lot of things.
So musically as well, you're on the same line.
Yeah. I mean, we're very open-minded, like, we love experimenting with new stuff. So it's, I don't know, I think neither of us are like, this is how it's supposed to be. Like, there's only one way, it's the Vög way. Like, it's just,
Exactly. Yeah, and me and Einar, we kind of for the first time wrote together this album. So it was great for Vög to get his musical opinion for this album. Something fresh.
Yeah, I will continue on that because I wrote a couple of things down about that. But just one quick thing in between, kind of the. I don't know. Is there one band or group that you really enjoy that she hates?
What?
In terms of music?
Probably Limp Bizkit. I have a huge guilty pleasure for Limp Bizkit, and I don't think you share that joy.
Definitely not. We were talking about like either you were Limp Bizkit or Linkin Park. I was Linkin Park.
Okay.
When we were kids, it was like with these two bands.
Yeah. There's something annoying with like
it doesn't age well at all.
No.
Like it's really Linkin Park ages way better. But I loved Limp Bizkit. And it was always on MTV,
Yeah.
No, but so it's very, very good that your musical tastes are very much alike. But you mentioned kind of writing together for the first time, and I also read that for you it was a little bit more personal. You started to look a bit more inward. So how should I see the way you work together? Was it just being together in a room, starting to just throw in a subject or a topic or a line or something?
We basically had most of the cores I made before, but I mean some of them were just like 10-20%, some were like maybe 50%, the demos. So it was basically like me sending over stuff to Einar, and he would work on it, and then we would get together and basically make the demos before we went to the producer, the co-producer, I would say.
How much of the sound was already thought of when you went to the producer? Did you kind of figure out what you wanted it to sound like?
I think he definitely helped form sort of the overall sound, like by having sort of like a red line that connects all the songs. I think it was like definitely when we were in the demo stage, it was a lot of like, you know, kind of, you know, a lot of like great demos, but they were a little bit all over the place. And he sort of helped us put it into like album form. But I think there's always like one, like you hear a song, and I think it's probably a lot to do with your voice. You just hear a song, and then it's like the character of Margaret's voice, and it's like, yeah, this is Vuk. Yeah.
Because to me, you mentioned kind of that line through it, and there's definitely kind of something that pulls everything together, and there's almost not entirely, but it's almost like two halves, because it starts out very energetic and upbeat sounding, and then it goes down a little bit in the middle.
Yeah.
So, how did you kind of try and play with that contrast and kind of having these kind of up and downs and different emotions coming out?
Yeah.
I think we just try to exaggerate that.
Okay.
Yeah. We needed something to like contrast, you know, the punchy puppy sound, you know. So
Yeah. It became like we were very aware of this, like starting off making this album, and then it became kind of it became a theme, you know, to have this like bright, polished, happy sound versus the sort of dark text themes, like
How come this was a point? Because you say we kind of we were very aware of this. Was that something you did on the previous album that you thought, okay, next time we're gonna do it differently? But how come that this was a point of emphasis?
I mean, I don't know. It was just.
I'm trying to keep it. Okay.
Can we use this?
Yeah, that's like.
Basically, for my part, I always wanted, like after the Figure album, I wanted something more upbeat, immediate, something. I think Einar was on the same page. So we kind of a little bit just aimed for that, and we just something that we wanted and we were feeling, you know. So we were a bit focusing on punchy, upbeat songs, and I mean I have always have loads of down tempo beats, you know. So that was basically, we just found something that we liked the most, so and piled it together basically.
Because one thing I can imagine is that, did you have the live show in mind when you kind of thought about how the album was going to sound and how that would translate to the stage?
I mean, that's always something you bear in mind, you know.
Yeah, I don't think we didn't think of it like that. Like we have to have a guitar on the song because we play guitar live. Like it wasn't like limiting like our workflow.
It was like, you know, I was always thinking like, oh, it's gonna be great playing this one.
Oh yeah.
You know, because our set has always been, you know, a bit powerful, but you know, slow and
kind of dreamy and ambient. And,
But now we can definitely mix it together. We have the old stuff and the new stuff.
Yeah, because well, one of the songs that stuck out for me sonically was Autopilot. It's very melodic, very. Well, you mentioned the word poppy earlier on, so it's not necessarily pop, but it has those kind of influences.
Yeah.
So were you very aware of kind of making it more accessible in a sense as well?
Yeah, in a way, but also because like a couple of months before we started on the album, I went to a writing session and I met a couple of producers. And I wrote Erasure, the song on the album, with James Earp, who produced it. So basically, like, I really liked his production, and I showed it to Einar. And it was just like the, you know, the now production sound, if you know what I mean. It was just like a really
very current.
Current.
And without being like over.
Yeah.
You know, it's like easy to just do something that's like, you know, super clean and crisp and just has like no character. But he had like a really good touch. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, with the contrast, if you listen to the song and the kind of what it's about, then it becomes. It's not as happy as kind of the music might imply. So that idea of Autopilot, where did that come from?
Lyrically. It's basically about meðvirkni.
Like codependency.
Codependency, a friendship that kind of didn't work out the way you wanted to. So yeah, it's basically, and addiction. So.
Okay, because that idea of living your life on autopilot, not kind of being active.
Exactly.
In a sense.
Yeah.
But so before we continue, can I assume that most of it, what you write, is kind of about your own life?
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's this album especially. So, I mean, you always try to work around and make some kind of a picture out of each song. So, yeah, most of it is quite personal. And I mean, Einar did also the lyrics. So.
Yeah, in terms of that, because is it, especially when it's personal, is it difficult to kind of? I mean, you seem like very good friends, but to open up and to kind of reveal certain elements of your personal life, is that easy to do?
Yeah. I mean, as you said, we're really close, so it's not hard for us.
I think it's like it's pretty open.
Yeah.
Like, just talk about stuff.
We're always talking about feelings.
Fair enough. Well, because kind of where the album switches then is round 2, and I wrote a line down from there. I walk through every day feeling so afraid.
Yeah.
Where did that line come from?
It's hard. It's
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, we wrote round 2 together because we shared a personal issue.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't want to get into it, we don't have to.
Yeah, it's quite.
It's for interpretation, maybe.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah. No, sorry.
But in case of a song like that, then. Which came first? Well, was the music already there, or did you write the lyrics first?
Music was there.
Music was there, and a minion singing was there.
Because does the music, the way it sounds, kind of that dark, kind of ambient thing, does that influence what type of lyrics you write, or what kind of emotions come out?
I mean, yeah, this song was.
It's always going to be dark.
It was always going to be dark, yeah, basically.
Okay.
So the mood is definitely there.
Because I read that you wrote quite a bit on while you were on tour for Figure. So how important is kind of your mood, or your kind of the way you're feeling as you write songs?
Like, Margaret's amazing in the fact that she can like be in the bus, you know, and like in the time span of getting from, you know, last night's venue or hotel to the next venue, like she will have written like a really great demo, you know, and like it just pours out, you know, and I don't think there's a lot of people that can do that in this sort of environment.
Yeah, there's something about like traveling. Yeah, you get inspiration all over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Final question then. The album is called In the Dark, and then I read it's kind of about facing your fears and kind of stepping out.
Yeah.
What is one hurdle that, as a band, you still need to face?
Sorry?
Is there one hurdle or something that you need to overcome as a band? Something kind of to get you to the next level?
Maybe codependency.
Okay.
And maybe being more I don't know.
Active on social media.
Yeah, more open, like towards like public. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
But it's like it's also like how extensively should you change, and why should you change? I mean, if you know, if people don't love you the way you are,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
like when I look back, we have grown so much over the last years. So, as just performers and musicians and everything. So, I think. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
God.
let me ask this question slightly differently then.
Yeah.
How do you see success?
How do we see success?
What is it, how would you define success for this band, for the music?
I would love to, for me, success. One really high goal, like a goal that I would like is that all of us could live of it, because we can't yet. Because like it's so expensive to, you know, travel because we live on an island.
Sure. Yeah, you have to fly everywhere.
And we have it's expensive, man.
It's expensive to live in Iceland as well.
Yeah.
Especially as an artist, it's like doesn't get
It's
you very far.
it's almost impossible. Yeah.
Well, this album is a step in the right direction, right?
Yeah, hope so. Really hope so.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us.